Righty ho. So, we have yet another game. So, by the time this goes live, we'll probably be into the new year already. But at current, it's 17 minutes past 11. Um, and I just finished this game. And let me tell you, like, Jesus Christ, this game is all over the place. So, it's in Minotaur, our favourite AP spammer. Or, well, I guess the only like AP spamming cruiser. But it's still our favourite, okay? We still like Mono. She's fun. So this is a ridiculous game. There's lots of banter. There's lots of chit chat. It's just brilliant. And of course, a detonation, because who doesn't like detonating?
Action station.
Especially on the New Year's Eve. Best way to finish it off. So we start off fairly standard game. I try not to bump into the Z23. I end up having to slow down to also not bump into the Baltimore. And this is where the kind of banter begins, I guess. And there'll be a lot of this going throughout the game, especially towards the end. Now, as things stand, nothing wrong with this. We quite like this. It spices things up a bit. It's nice. But like, yeah, it's always good. So, we've decided we're going into C, or we're going to go for C specifically, because B is kinda in Mino. C is really like our best bet, all things considered. So we go for C. I said B earlier, I think. I meant C. So we go for C. And yeah. And we're joined by this Yu Yang. Now, something that happens a bit later, you'll probably see as being possibly, it could well be a radar Yu Yang, which you don't see very often. That's quite a rarity, so it wouldn't have surprised me. But of course, this Yu Yang makes a grave mistake, and we'll get on to that a bit later. We're not going to get on with that just now. We'll get on with that later. So as things stand, there's an Alaska and a Benson there, and if memory serves, that Alaska is the only radar they've got. Yes, that's the only radar they've got. So I'm sitting here thinking, ooh. Well, I can sit here comfy then. So, if I get into C, I can just smoke up and so on. Unless the Alaska pushes in towards C, it's like, okay. And now, see here, you'll see what I meant about this Yu Yang. Instead, when he gets spotted by the Z, instead of smoking up, he waits for the Z to smoke up, and then pushes towards the smoke. Now, the Z52 gets the really good hydro. Like, the really good hydro. So why is the Yu Yang pushing? So I'm kind of thinking, ooh, it's probably a radar. And then this happens. It's like, well, okay. And that right there was his grave mistake. He should have been running. He should have been running the det flag. Why wouldn't you run the det flag on a destroyer? It doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, so we get spotted, so we decide to smoke up. Unfortunately, the North Cal does get a salvo off, and this hurts. Chunk. Like so. Fortunately, with Mino being as it is, we get the better heal, the improved heal for the Citadel damage stuff. We, of course, have to come back with the classic OK Boomer. And so far, we've been chunked. We've done like less than 10k damage. Well, we've done more than 10k damage now. And we've not done very much. And I'm kind of here thinking, like, I'm going to get rushed down by this DD, I'm going to get spotted by the Hydro, and then I'm fucked. What can I do then? In fact, this is not what happens, like at all. But we'll see. We'll see. You'll see, I guess. So the Hipper pops up. Now, we can't Citadel a Hipper, at least not at this range, anyways. I believe Hipper gets the turtle back anyway, so we basically can't Citadel him at all. What we can do, however, is like chip damage. We can do little chunks here and there, and I mean, this is going to result in him dying, so it's fine. And we also do manage to stray outside of our smoke. Now, it turns out I spotted the Z52. Guess what they're not going to have for very much longer, because guess what Mino does? This is the kind of thing that Mino does. This is what a Minotaur does when it comes across a DD. They don't tend to live very long. And so as a result, we kill the Z52, and I'm thinking, well, shit. I'm probably going to die here. So I think, right, we'll throw some torpedoes over at the Conqueror before we die, and he fires some H-Eaters, and it turns out this was actually a Citadel, because he and I did get to talking later on in the game, and you can probably tell by the slither of health that I can actually heal. So he Citadels me, and then I'm thinking, right, shit, well, I've only got like 20k health, and I can only heal back a small part of that. So I think, fuck it. We'll fire at the North Cal and then we'll smoke. What's the worst that could happen? The shots at the NorCal don't really do very much, but I'm still spotted, and this is a problem. So, we next decide we're going to shoot at the Conqueror. Now, this is fine. This is all basically what we want. Something takes a pot shot at us. I think possibly it might be the NorCal, maybe, because she does have fairly lazy arcs. And so we're just here unloading into this Conqueror. I believe he's about to start reversing. But, we're landing fairly consistent damage on him into his superstructure and what have you. And, he's, this guy's nice. But, he's nice. But we don't know this at this point, so we decide we're going to shoot at him. And as we're shooting at him, we're dealing like consistent damage. We're up to 75k damage. Nothing startling. Definitely nowhere near what this ship is capable of. And he's reversing away from the Alaska. This and that. The Alaska, we do unfortunately lose the Alaska. I wasn't really paying attention at the time, so I'm not sure what it was that we lost the Alaska to. I would imagine the North Cal. But we lose the Alaska. So next up, what happens is... Oh, no, it was actually... No, was it? Was it the Conqueror? No, it looks like it might have been North Cal. So we decide we're going to take this as an opportunity to kill the North Cal. Because if he gets away, if he starts running, we may not get chance to finish him off. So we need to finish him off like now, basically, while we've got chance. So we finish him off, and we do so just with our last salvo, I do believe. Or second to last salvo. Like, if we'd have been a second or two later, we'd have been spotted by the Conqueror. And we don't want that. We don't want to get spotted by the Conqueror, because we've already established that the guy knows what he's doing. Now we see that the team are getting B. So the team are definitely making their push. So we've pretty much dealt with everything on this side. The only thing really left at this point is the Conqueror. So what we decide, we fire off some torps, and then we turn around, and then we begin to smoke, but while still turning. And then we fire off another salvo of torps, in the hopes that we might catch him with some. We do get spotted, briefly, but not long enough for him to do anything. But this Conqueror has a Missouri he has to worry about now. So he has to turn. So he very nearly turns into this torp, which would have been brilliant if he had, but he didn't, so not much we can do about that. So he's now having to angle towards this Missouri's not to get Citadel since they've made that change now. And so we're here just pumping AP shells into the guy's superstructure, and all's well. He eats a torp here, but of course he's got his damcon up, so everything's fine. And now he's popped his heal. So I can't outdo that level of DPM, and he's not far away from me, so he's going to start spotting me when I'm shooting soon. But he's turning side. He's giving me his side, so we can pump in some pretty decent chunks now. And in the long run as well, so we're not going to get this kill, unfortunately, but we're going to do the majority of the work here. And so at this point, he starts to be able to spot us, but he's too preoccupied with the Missouri to be able to turn his guns, or even if he wanted to turn his guns, he wouldn't be able to turn them in time. So, with that said then, we, and this is where the banter begins with the Conqueror. This is nice. I actually end up giving this guy a compliment, because in fairness, he did play well. So yeah, we give him a compliment. We give the Missouri we give the Conqueror a compliment later, but we do that. And if you notice, our damage is up at 178k at this point. But with that said, this isn't the last of it. This is already past my damage record for Minotaur. My damage record is 104. Well, until today, it was 143,000. There is still some damage to be done, so we will get a bit more, but not for a little while. This is mostly just back and forth between the Conqueror and myself. But yeah, no, this guy knew what he was doing. He was all right. But yeah, so with that said though, +9 from the Missouri. That doesn't work, by the way. How did you like? Yeah, and this is where we discover that he Citadel us with that shot from earlier. So yeah, that wasn't too bad, I guess. But yeah, this was like all in all, this was a good game. But you know, so the other Conqueror is about to die. He dies. So all that's left at this point is a Yoshino and a Smolensk. That's about it. That's all that's left at this point. So, with that said, we've got a bit of time to kill in the meantime. So just to drop the usual, if you like the content here, do feel free to subscribe on YouTube. That's free. That doesn't cost you a penny. If you want to see more content like this, at the time, as it's happening, you can find me on Twitch. That's where you'd find me more often than not. YouTube is just a place for me to pour in like my really good games, essentially. But you can find me on Twitch, and that's where you'll normally find me, anyways. And you can also follow on there for free. If you want to subscribe on there, though, that costs a little bit of money, and I'm by no means am I expecting subscribers on Twitch. That's not what I'm here for. I do this for fun and also. But yeah, so with that said, if you guys would like to see more of this, you can find me you can subscribe on here if you'd like. That doesn't cost a penny. You can follow me on Twitch, which also doesn't cost a penny. If you would like to, speak to the pudding that we all know and love. Well, I'm sure a lot of you don't really love me, but it's okay. It's fine. There is a link, an invite to the Discord down below, and I'm pretty as long as I'm awake, I'm pretty much always on Discord. So if you want to talk, to Pudding, just, get on there and we can talk on there. Because that's basically where I spend all of my time, when I'm not asleep, of course. But yeah, so with that said, though, we're getting back into the action now, so we'll get back into commentary mode. So there's this Yoshino here. We're not doing a lot of damage to him. It's steady, but we're up to like 180 something. I think he's about to get chunked though, so we're not really going to get much chance to do anything more here. 190, 193, 197, yeah. And then, unfortunately, that's about where it stops. Just because, there's just not enough time to get any good salvos in on the Smolens, just due to time, essentially. The shells aren't even going to land. So that's a shame. So on to the post-battle results. 450,000 credits, 8,000 XP, 1,900 free XP, 197,000 damage, 516 shell hits, 1 torpedo, incapacitation, 2 sunk. I think the incapacitation was the either Conqueror's engine or steering gears, one at t'other. 1 flooding, but then that goes with the torp. 1 solo cap and 2 spotting ribbons. And then on to the team score. 2,500 base, 2 ships sunk, and basically between me and the Hindenburg, we were the only ones to break 2k. Where was that Conqueror? Yeah, that Conqueror was there. He came second. He did okay. He's a good player. If you ever come across this guy in the future, tell him I said hi. But with that said, yeah, that was the game. This was by far and away my best game. And so this was 197k, and if I just pull up my Minotaur stats here, decent win rate. But my previous best game was 143,000 damage. So this should say a little bit of something as to, just how good a game that was. So, yeah. But, as mentioned prior, if you would like to see more of this stuff, you feel free to subscribe or follow. Subscribe on YouTube or follow on Twitch. You will get a fair, not a lot of this kind of content, but I try my best to upload as frequently as possible. If you would like to talk to Pudding, for whatever reason, be that nicely, or if you've got some feedback or whatever, there's the comments down below here, or there's the Discord, whichever, either is fine. Just go with whichever works best. Next up, I do want you all to have yourselves a lovely year, since by the time you lot see this, it will be the new year. So I do hope that you all have yourselves a good one, and I hope that you succeed in everything you set out to do during this next year. I do also hope that you've all had yourselves a nice Christmas, once again. And as a quick point of note, be careful. Don't go doing any... It doesn't matter if it's New Year's or even just if you find this video in 2 years' time. Just be careful. Don't go and do anything stupid. Just be careful with everything. It's very easy to, not be careful, and things tend to go bad at that point. So yeah, just be careful. But with that said, I will see you all again next time. Do take care, everyone. Have yourselves a wonderful, morning, evening, night, whatever. I will see you all again next time. See ya.